There's a new issue where there's a divide between Bernie Sanders and Hillary Clinton. It's a proposed executive order called the Model Employer Executive Order. And the whole purpose of it is that it would, quote, give federal contracts only to companies that uphold good labor standards. So when Bernie Sanders and his campaign, when they were reached for comment on this, their response was, oh, do we support that? Totally. 100%. Sign us up. I mean, I love that. Great idea. Fantastic idea. When Hillary's campaign was reached for comment, according to the Huffington Post here, quote, the Clinton campaign wants to see the language of the executive order first. Now, this is a perfect example of how Hillary acts and what the perception is versus what the reality is, because when she says something like this, she allows herself to then turn around to all of her supporters and the broader public and say, no, see, I told you I'm the pragmatic one, I'm the moderate one. All I'm asking for is to see the text of said executive order before I agree to it, so get off my back here. You have to be smart about this stuff. You can't just say, I support it. You have to obviously read the text of it first. So she spins this into a positive. But what's the reality about this? Why wouldn't she just say, yeah, I'm with that executive order? Because they explained to her in detail what it is. Well, she wouldn't say it because she's actually not in favor of it. Because this is an executive order that would make it so that whoever the federal government gives contracts to, they have to abide by good labor standards. They have to pay a living wage, for example. They have to be open to the idea of unionization, and they have to not crush it immediately. And Hillary Clinton takes a lot of money from corporations that crush unions. Hillary takes a lot of money from various corporate interests that are totally against raising the minimum wage to a living wage. So the reason why she's doing a tap dance here and saying, I'd love to see the language of the executive order first, is so that she doesn't say on the record, yes, I'm for it, and then if/when she's president, she doesn't do anything about it. And people go, hey, what the fuck? You flip-flopped. She gave herself wiggle room where she could say, well, I told you I needed to see the language of it first, and I don't like the language of it. Guys, it's perfectly straightforward. It's perfectly clear. It's not difficult. And this is why Bernie was like, yeah, obviously, that's a great idea. The idea that the federal government only does contracts with people who do good labor standards. So that's just, hey, our taxpayer money going to contractors with the government. Let's not make it so that they're paying a wage that's not a living wage. Let's not make it so that they're crushing unions. Let's make it so that the people who the federal government employs, they do okay financially. Hillary's like, I'm not sure. And this is the exact same excuse that she used for the TPP. You remember that? She flipped on it at one point. And she said, I don't know why Senator Sanders keeps attacking me. All I did was wait until I actually read the bill before I opposed it. That's what this is all about. So again, trying to spin it like, I'm the responsible one. He's reflexive. He's so far left, he doesn't even read the bills before he comes out on a certain side. Well, Hillary, if you just read the bill first in order to say, I don't like it with the TPP, why did you lobby for it 45 times before you flipped your position? So according to your own logic, according to your own reasoning, you were pushing for TPP before you even knew what was in it. So what a joke this is, man. The reality is, anytime she doesn't come out and give you a clear-cut, concrete answer, it's because she doesn't agree with you. She's not on your side. And we've seen so many examples of this, where, for example, on Money in Politics, Bernie Sanders says we have to get money out of politics. Very simple, very straightforward, and the corruption and the legalized bribery. This is exactly what we say on the show all the time. This is exactly what every liberal and progressive in the country, if they're really that, this is exactly what they want. What does Hillary Clinton say? Devil's in the details. Got to look at the fine print. We need to get dark, unaccountable money out of politics. Wait, why did you add those two words? No, we have to get money out of politics. Private money needs to be out of politics. No, we need dark, unaccountable money out of politics. You want to know why she's saying that? Because the rules and the law to get dark, unaccountable money out of politics, that just means we need transparency laws. So she's not going to get money out of politics. She wants to get unaccountable money out of politics, which means, hey, we're just going to pass transparency laws, so whenever people buy the politicians, whether it's through a super PAC or a campaign or what have you, they have to disclose that they're funding the politician. Now, that's a step in the right direction to say we can know fully who's bribing our politicians. But they're still bribing our politicians. Bernie says, let's stop the bribery. Hillary's like, no, let's stop unaccountable money in politics. Stop saying unaccountable. Just say get money out of politics. She can't do it. Why? She doesn't agree with it. Same thing here. I'd have to read the executive order that says the federal government can only contract with companies that do good labor standards before I agree with it. Why? They're just asking if you're in favor of a living wage, good labor standards. That's not a hard thing. This isn't one where it's super nuanced and there's gray area. It's just, hey, should the government contract with people and pay them not enough money to survive? They're like, I don't know. I need to see the wording of it. She says this because she's in the pocket of corporations, guys. I need you to not be naive. I need you to not be stupid. I need you to open your eyes and actually read what's going on in the world, look at the different articles, see where Hillary Clinton falls on the different policy positions, and understand that if you are a liberal, a progressive, if you're a left-winger, well, then the choice is clear. Like, it's one thing if you say, hey, no, I am center-right. So that's where I fall on the spectrum. I'm center-right. I don't want a political revolution. I don't want to get money out of politics. I'm kind of rich myself, so I'm pro-corporate, pro-establishment. If that's your position on the spectrum, by all means, vote for Hillary Clinton. But you should be fully aware of who and what you're voting for when you vote for Hillary Clinton. You are voting for somebody who represents that, who represents being center-right, pro-corporate, and pro-establishment. Whereas Bernie represents being a liberal, barely. I say barely because in the context of the U.S., sure, he's far left. Nobody denies that within the context of the U.S. But the Overton window, the spectrum, is so far to the right in the U.S. that Bernie, in an international sense, is a centrist, just like I fancy myself. So this isn't some crazy person. This is somebody who's the most pragmatic candidate we've seen running in the U.S. in a long time, fighting for basic progressive positions. Universal college, universal health care. This isn't radical. It's radical if you don't believe in it. The U.S. is unique among modern nations in the sense that we don't have these things. So if you want to keep getting screwed, by all means, you know what candidates to vote for.